The only thing that's ever going to be consistent 1,000 years ago to 1,000 years from now is people. And I want you guys to grab a hold of that concept. Please, I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Because I'm going to tell you right now. 10 years ago, we didn't socialize through social media. 10 years from now, it's going to be something different. All right? Do you need social media? Yes, because that's how we communicate with people currently. But what we need truly, the only thing that stands the test of time, the only thing that pours the footers deep enough to have a solid foundation on the home that you're building is to understand people and to love people and to engage with people and to do what's best for people. Understand how to engage that. And we learned a lot about that this weekend. That's one reason I want you to go to DaniJohnson.com, www.danijohnson.com. Okay, because I think that she has a lot to offer, and I think everybody needs to subscribe to her free 5-video series that they have there. Okay, so with that said, guys, listen, I have a rare occasion. I'm actually sitting in a hotel room in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, right, with a guy who, let me tell you something, what an amazing friend he is to me. This guy has lost 100 pounds. He's been involved with Beachbody for at least 4 years, right, maybe a little bit more. This is a guy that has taken some huge risk. He left an acting career in New York City and went back to his home state of Dallas, Texas, took a huge risk and decided that he was going to do Beachbody on a full-time basis. And after having his wife and a new baby, he's one of the top leaders in the entire network. And he's absolutely an incredible person. He loves people just like we do. He comes from a very mission-based heart, and you know what? He's been a great friend to me throughout the years, and he has blessed me just by being my friend and not coming from a place of greed and sharing ideas between him and I that we can both use to help our entire teams, his team and my team, succeed. Okay, so I want to welcome and I want to introduce a guy that I seriously have a great friendship with. I want to tell you how great of a friendship I have with him. I had one extra Bellevue football coaching hat, and for those of you that know me, you know that my football program that I coach high school kids with is one of the most important things to me. And I thought about for a year who I was going to give this extra hat to. Now there's only one person out on our staff that gets that hat, and I brought it this weekend and I gave it to this man right here, Jimmy Nelson. All right, so guys, if I love this guy that much, guess what? You probably ought to take a pen and a paper, and you ought to be having a smile on your face as big as his. I don't think I've ever seen you red, man.
I am a little red. That's a lot to live up to, and I was just as red when you gave me the hat. It was overwhelming, and it was such a blessing. And I don't know what's a bigger feather in my cap is getting the hat or finally getting to be on a swarm call. And so for me, you've been a guest speaker for my team a few times, but the fact that I'm on, guys, your team rocks so much, and it's so funny because you guys come up so often with my team. I mean, obviously we did the Blitz together, but I brag on you guys all the time, and I don't know what you guys did to be so, I don't know if you said the right prayers, if whatever you did right, but to have this man sitting next to me as your leader, you're so blessed. I've learned so much from Tommy, and I know that he's so generous with his knowledge, and it's such a blessing for me to have a friend like Tommy, because really at the end of the day, iron sharpens iron, right, guys? All of us working together, doing our part, but sharing ideas, sharing vision, that makes us all stronger. And so, I mean, I'm thrilled to be here, so thank you, Tommy.
Why don't you share with the people just sort of your story from when you started and kind of what took you from the beginning steps of being, the weight loss to the beginning as a coach and how things were till now.
Sure. Before finding Beachbody, guys, I was 100 pounds heavier. I found myself in my early mid-20s as a college dropout, moving back home in with my parents, in a dead-end acting career that wasn't going anywhere. Obviously, 100 pounds overweight doesn't make you very marketable. I was working in the restaurant and bar industry, working at a bar in North Dallas, living with my parents in my mid-20s, didn't have a lot of vision, didn't have a lot of, I didn't know what I was going to do. I saw debt piling up. And like so many of you guys on the call, I was introduced by a friend to a program. And at the time, that program was Power 90. I mean, that was pre-P90X or anything else. We kind of had two programs that it was like Power 90, there was Slim and 6, like A or B. And I judged it. I totally judged it. I saw a buddy of mine having great success, and I asked him what he was doing, and he told me, check out this infomercial. I'm like, there's a really corny guy telling jokes, and they're working out with rubber bands. I'm not doing that. And finally, stories sell. So I see this guy, and he's getting results. And so finally, I gave in, started using the program, started seeing results like so many of you guys, and I was hooked. Hooked on the message boards, hooked in the community. I mean, what you guys are right here, the community, the support. Our programs are great. Shakeology is great, but at the end of the day, it's about people, you know, and it's about each other, supporting each other. So I jumped in full throttle. P90X came out. I did it with my wife. It was a great relationship builder for us. It really strengthened our marriage as newlyweds to something to work on together. And the coaching opportunity came up, and we were obviously already talking about it. And people were asking me if I already worked for the company because I wouldn't shut up about it. And I started part-time. I was still acting, working in New York City, working part-time jobs. And real quick side note, low point as far as a business side goes, when I realized, okay, I need to take this serious. And this actually was right before the coaching opportunity came up. Found myself working part-time jobs in New York, just trying to like make ends meet and trying to help my wife out while she worked a full-time job. And so I would do promotions gigs sometimes. And the worst promotion gig, and so what that means is sometimes you would go out into Times Square or into a department store, and like I did coffee samples in a department store. But the worst one ever is I found myself in Times Square in New York City at 4 a.m. dressed in a Newsies outfit. If you remember the movie Newsies with the hat and like the old paperboy outfits. So here I am. I'm 31 years old, dressed as a newsie at 4 a.m. in New York City, trying to hand out chocolates to people that don't want them. And I'm like, I am a grown man with a family. This is it.
I mean, when desperation meets decision, right?
Absolutely. That was my breaking point. That is it. I'm taking this thing seriously. I want to learn how to grow this business. And starting on a part-time basis, I'm really, really proud to say that it is something now where it is our main source of income. I have no other side job. When acting jobs come up, they're a bonus, so it's not so stressful. And I got a new baby who just turned 3 months old, and I get to be a stay-at-home dad. And for me, that's tops. That's the biggest blessing over any paycheck, over any weight loss, is that I get to be there, and my son never knows, oh, Daddy went to work today.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. I mean, we've talked all weekend about when desperation meets decision.
Right.
Right. I mean, we've talked about that.
Yeah.
Sincerely, and I can tell you that in my life, that's what happened to me, and I know you made a choice to take it serious.
Yeah.
And when you did that, what was it that you started doing now that maybe you weren't doing prior to that moment?
What I knew is that I'd never run a business before, right? So I'd done the fitness programs. I had a story, but I didn't know how to run a business. So I had to seek out somebody or something that had success, that had track records, right? So results, success. I mean, success equals results, right? So I needed to seek out a system or something. So that's when the journey started with the game plan, with finding out training, and that led me on that path of personal development, seeking out trainers, looking for things beyond myself. It's just like we heard a great example this week about if you were going to sign up and you're going to be a doctor, right? You're going to go to X amount of years of school, make an investment, you're going to show up with all your books. It's the exact same thing with this business, is I had to make an investment in myself to learn how to run a business like this.
Right.
You know, and so once I started treating this, it's in the game plan, guys, treat it like a business. And it's so funny because, again, this weekend we talked about, because it's so easy to get in this business. You know, they make it almost too simple and let us get in at too low a cost that we don't treat it like a business. If we had to go take out a $10,000 or $100,000 loan to buy a Subway franchise, and we had a note due every month, think of that. If you had to pay on a $100,000 loan at the end of every month, how would you be working your business different today? What if reaching out and swallowing my ego and thinking, there's people that know more than I do about this, and humbling myself and weighing my ego versus my bank account, and getting rid of that ego and saying, okay, be teachable.
Right.
And then once I'm teachable and once I plug into somebody who's doing more than I am, implementing those, learn knowledge, applied knowledge. It's enough that you've got to go to school, but then you've got to leave the classroom and go put it into action. And I think that's where the change happened.
Yeah, right. And you started taking more action. Yeah, I mean, you showed up to events.
Right.
You started doing personal developments. We have a suggested book of the month right now,
right,
and a suggested audio of the month right now that our team's reading and listening to it and stuff like that. And I mean, talk about the value that you found in that portion, the personal development portion, just getting rid of your what Leo Harvin calls. He's a guy on our team at Diamond Coach. He calls it your negative stinking thinking. You got to get rid of it.
Dude, I love that stinking thinking. That's awesome. Yeah, because you got a computer that has been programmed since you were a child. And unfortunately for most of us, there's a lot of negative speak. We've been told no. We've been told we have all sorts of failures and stuff, and this has built up, and this created a belief system that we think is factual. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, the I can't, this doesn't work, every time I do this it's a facade.
I'm going to try.
Yeah, I'm going to try. Maybe it's a facade that has been painted around your brain that right now you see it. As an actor, I think of it as like a soundstage, right? You see some of these movies and they look like they're outside or they look like they're in this like really exotic place, but when they say cut and the lights come on, all of a sudden you realize you're in a warehouse and everything's fake. That's your brain, that's your mindset right now. So by doing this personal development, and I'm not saying, you have to dive in, just exactly what the game plan says, 10 pages a day, 15 minutes of audio, it's a slight edge. You just start daily reprogramming that brain. It's amazing how the things around you change because your belief systems change, your perceptions change, what you're looking for. You may not even realize it at first because sometimes it happens so gradually that you're going to wake up one day and you're not going to recognize the person that you are in a good way because now your belief system, I think Tommy and I, we talked about how much our belief system has been just rocked this weekend.
Right.
In like a 3-day seminar of I coming in thinking I had a pretty good belief system, and I was rocked this weekend.
Totally.
And leaving this thing, my posture talking to people is going to be completely different, and it's because I took the time to invest in myself and in my thinking the same way you would. You get up and you push play, you put that DVD in, and every day you're going to do that workout. And some days your workout totally sucks. It's like I got up and I did so, but you showed up. And showing up, that's 90% of it.
Right. And it's just being around. I talk all the time about the support group that we have formed, right? And just being around the team, whether it's on the Team Swarm Facebook page, or being on the Swarm calls, or showing up to the events, showing up to the Fit Club, showing up to the shimmies at the houses, or whatever it is.
Right.
That when you get there, right, the people that want to be serious about this make the investment, make the sacrifice that is necessary. And I think that for guys like you and for me and for a lot of other people that have found success with this, we've discovered this, that without sacrifice, results won't happen.
Absolutely.
True?
Yo, absolutely. And then the other thing, you talk about that Facebook page, and I've seen your Facebook page, guys, and that's such an amazing tool. And I'm going to tell you why. Because on days you're having a cruddy day, when that stinking thinking has climbed up and whatever reason has just punched you in the face, and maybe you were doing really good and so you allowed somebody to steal that momentum, you plug into that wall and you read somebody else's success story that day, and that raises your spirits. I'm going to tell you on the other side, if you're having a rocking day, do not keep it to yourself. You owe it to the team, and you owe it for coming back to you. You have got to share that story. Because there is somebody out there, if you're having a rocking day, a rocking week, I sit here and I look like at Ashley's numbers this month. Share that. Because there is somebody out there that maybe that day they're ready to give up. And your story may be the thing that helps them go one more day. And who knows, maybe it's that one more day that's when the dam breaks for them and all this momentum rushes out. So share it. So bad day, plug into somebody else's story. Good day, share because somebody else needs your story.
Right, and that's and like you talk. You just shared Ashley's story.
Right.
She wasn't sharing it. You shared it. Right. And we've discovered. Even this weekend, guys, when Jimmy talks about the fact that just this weekend, guys, be humble enough to understand there's always learning.
Oh yeah.
And there's always growing.
Absolutely.
Always. Right. If you think you know everything, I'm going to tell you, like Jimmy, I thought I knew a lot. I came here and was completely humbled and completely open to the idea that there's always a new level. There's always a new level. Always, right?
I don't mean to interrupt, but it talks about like once you're kind of the top dog in your circle, the minute that you're the smartest person in your circle, go find a new circle.
Go find a new circle.
Because you will be so... And Tommy and I did that, right? Tommy and I have been pretty successful in this. And, we've been kind of success buddies for a while. And we walked into a room of people that we all of a sudden, it was like being a freshman in high school all over again. It was like
nobody knew us from a jar of Vicks, right?
No, and people are sharing their successes and what they're doing in their businesses
and what they're doing in their personal life, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, we heard from people that have paid off, that went from complete welfare with 6 children on welfare to paying off $260,000 in debt
in under a year.
Yeah, right. And I think that's what really my eyes were open to was that we really have the solution to people finally getting out of debt.
Yeah.
Finally having freedom.
Oh, right? Yeah.
Physically, financially, emotionally, all of that. That the home-based world, what we offer, the opportunity is more than just to make a little bit of money. The opportunity is more than just losing some weight. This is an opportunity for complete and utter transformation. What the masses dream about but never achieve, we offer. As long as they buy in and as long as they apply the knowledge.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? And as long as they develop the skill, right? Because the other thing that we learned is that where you're at is a direct result of your current level of skill.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, and that goes back to the investment thing, right? So if you're not happy with your business, well, then we have to look back. Okay, I'm not happy with where I'm at. If only X, Y, whatever your excuse is, right? And all an excuse is a well-planned lie, guys. That's all an excuse is. So whatever you're like, if only my this would do that. You know what? It starts with you. And it starts with you acting and planting where you're put. If only I was in a bigger city. If only I was better at social media. If only wherever you're planted, you were planted there for a reason, and you have every resource around you. You have everything you need to start where you are. And once you take that step, it's amazing how other things will open to you. And I always go back to my mom tells me this story, and I grew up in a Bible-based home, and so I think about this. But she always tells me about the story of Moses leading the Israelites out of Egypt, right? And everybody knows the story like the Red Sea parting. But now what everybody doesn't always know is the Red Sea didn't part till they put their feet in the water.
Wow.
Right? It wasn't like the Red Sea just opened and they were like, oh, there's the path. They had to do something. They had to take a step into the water, and then
they had to live by faith.
They had to live by faith.
Oh my gosh.
How many times did we hear that this weekend?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, living by faith.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's a lot of people on this call tonight that are living by faith.
Absolutely.
You know? That they're on this call with absolutely zero skill. Maybe they're brand new. Maybe they've been doing this for a while with zero skill. And I think what you've realized, what I've realized is that, seriously, when we began this journey, we had zero skill.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We were living by faith. That we finally met those moments where desperation had to equal decision.
Yes.
You know, both of us. You, me, a lot of people on this call. Right? But that those tools are available. You've been seeking those tools. And here's what you said to me, Jimmy, was this. That when you made the choice, it was when desperation equaled decision. You had to make that choice for your family, for your wife, for your life. You had to make that choice. And you knew that you had to get better skills.
Mm-hmm.
And so you invested your time. You went to the seminars. You studied the game plan. You started looking at the skills that you didn't have, that you wanted to have, that you needed to have to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's the exact same process I went through. I mean, seriously, when you really break down the things that we've learned this weekend, if we could just get the people, everybody that's on this call, and everybody that's going to listen to this recording, to just understand that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you are exactly where you're supposed to be by your current level of skill. So if you're at ground zero, guess what? Your skill is at ground zero, right? And if you're successful, that you can build on the skills you currently have and always gain more skills. Because I can tell you right now, I spent 3 days this weekend sharpening skills, sharpening the axe to levels that I never even dreamed of.
Sure.
Right?
Now, I will warn that. Now, on top of this, and I say this especially if you're new, and you're like, oh, they have skill. So does that mean I have to go learn all this before I can put anything to action? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because there's a trap there. And I fall into this a lot, so I speak from experience. I love the learning process, right? I really got addicted to personal development, to these seminars and stuff, right? But if there is no action behind it, so you're brand new, you have some amazing leaders on this team, not just Tommy, but many leaders on this team, right? And somebody that brought you in, lean on them. Take action. you're still reaching out, right? You're still reaching out. You're doing your shake and shimmy. You're following the system that Team Swarm is set up, right? And you're going to lean on, it's almost like, think of it as an apprenticeship. You're going to lean on your leader for their skills. Because not only are the leaders on this team and the people on this team developing their skills for their business, but they're developing their skills for your business. Because they bring you in and they want you to see success immediately. And so if you will rely on them, again, ego versus bank account, swallow it. Swallow your ego and say, I know nothing, and take pride in it. Yeah. Because you know what's crazy? If you go to somebody else and you're like, guys, I don't know, whatever the question is, I don't know. All I know is this guy Tommy got me involved. He's really excited. He's lost 100 pounds. He's doing awesome in this business. I'm excited to be on. Hey, you want to listen to him?
Right.
Right. And in the process of listening to Tommy again and again, you're not going to need Tommy as much because Tommy's going to be in your head. The trainees are going to be in your head. And it's amazing how these things that you continue to program in your brain, they just start flying out of your mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
One other example, and I know we got to keep this thing short, and I say this because I love Larry Zimberg, and I know that you guys have worked with Larry. It's become I guess would this be I was so bad in English, would it be a verb? To Zimberg? Yeah, I guess it'd be a verb. To Zimberg has become a verb in my house because my wife wanted me to go, I was trying to prep food for the week, and she's like, I need you to check the laundry and because the garbage comes tomorrow and something and something. I said, okay, Kelly, well, let me finish my food first, put this up, and then I'll do what you asked me to. Is that fair? Which is so hilarious. If you guys don't know, that's so straight out of like Larry Zimberg's. And I didn't mean to do it. I just listened to Larry so much. It came out, and she just looked at me. She's like, don't Zimberg me. But it's so funny that it just comes out of you what you continue to put in. Yeah. Good in, good out, garbage in, garbage out. And think of where you're spending your time, guys. How much time are you in the car? Was the TV on in the background? These are times that you can pop some training in, listen to one of these calls again, over and over, because the doctor didn't show up to class just once. You can't listen to these things just once. You got to listen again and again until they just become part of your subconscious.
Right. And you got to take notes, and you got to look at them, and then you got to apply them, So,
oh yeah, absolutely.
So dude, Jimmy, I can't tell you, man, how fantastic it's been the last couple of years, just really like getting to know you. And really just becoming great friends with you, like brothers, and so I can tell you that we have an excited team. We appreciate you and your time, and I know that you have a great team, and I know that it's not just going to be people from Team Swarm that are on the stage come Summit. It's going to be people from you and your team, and I appreciate you taking the time and sharing your excitement and your enthusiasm, but also what you've known and your struggles and your successes with us here at Team Swarm. So guys, listen, that's a wrap for the Monday Night Swarm. So here's what I want you to do. All right, this is the deal. We're going to go to the Team Swarm, page, the Swarm Cave on Facebook. I just want you guys to go make sure you're checking in there on a daily basis, sharing with each other, asking those questions that you need to ask. All right, I want you to just really take a look at, where is it that you can get better? I want you to take a humbled step back. Just like Jimmy did this weekend, just like I had to do this weekend. Take a humbled step back. Ask yourself, where is it that I can get sharper? Is it leaning more on the team? Is it making it less about me and more about the person that I'm talking to? Is it engaging just a little bit more? Is it making that sacrifice to go to that game plan event or that training or to make it on the team call? I don't know where it is right now in your business because, we got plenty of callers on this line, but everybody's struggling at a different point. Okay, but nothing great comes without sacrifice. Jimmy had to make a sacrifice this weekend. Not only him, but he had, 6 or 7 of his team members. It wasn't easy for them to get here this weekend, but they made the sacrifice. And I can tell you that everybody that was here, every single person that had made that sacrifice and got in the room for this event, that was on Jimmy's team that I had a chance to talk to, looked at me and said, I can't believe the changes that have went on in my mind and my heart. I can't believe how worth it was. And one guy flew a FedEx airliner, cargo airliner from Alaska to Pennsylvania to be here for this 3-day seminar. Right?
Yes.
And I can tell you, his smile today was a heck of a lot bigger than it was on Friday night when I first met him. All right? The sacrifice was worth it because the lights go off. Okay? There's always hope. You don't have to be the newsie in New York City spreading chocolate around at 4 in the morning when you got a wife and a family that you're worried about, right? That if you make the choice and you take the risk and you have the faith and you have the belief and you stay the course, take the timeline off. We learned that this weekend, right? Mm-hmm. Take the timeline off. And make your timeline until it happens. I'm going to do everything it takes until it happens. Invalid option. Okay? Not I'm going to do this for 90 days and see if it works. Take the timeline off. Jimmy's 3.5 years into this thing. I'm 3.5 years into this thing, and I can tell you guys something. It took us a couple years to start figuring it out, and we're still in the process of figuring it out. Mm-hmm. End of story. Okay? Nobody shows up day one as the expert. All right? Guys, I thank you. I thank you for taking the time. I thank you for making the sacrifice to be on this team call tonight. All right? And as always, we'll see you in the Swarm Cave. Good night.